to thank the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to make a presentation at this conference. The title of my paper is Fostering Innovation in Small and Medium Enterprise Clusters through Triple Helix Interactions, and within that framework, exploring the role of academy-industry linkages. Small and medium enterprises are extremely important for developing countries, and that's the reason why I've chosen this as the title of my paper. And within this framework, we are going to be analyzing the triple helix model. Now, the triple helix model is basically an institutional framework for analyzing the linkages among three key institutional spheres. That is the industry, the government, certain government agencies, and universities and research institutions, and the cross-flow of information and ideas among them to create an innovative, vibrant, thriving ecosystem. So the focus of the paper is on triple helix interactions. Now, within these triple helix interactions, universities, which are wellsprings of knowledge with their diverse pool of faculty and academia, are at the center of fostering innovation in these developing and developed economies. Examples of triple helix interactions spurred by universities, which have collaborated with government agencies, small and medium enterprises, come from both developing and developed countries. And I'll be showing a few of these examples. For instance, from the developed world, we have Route 128 and Silicon Valley in the United States. Now, these are spurred by interactions among universities such as MIT, Boston University, number of startups, number of high-tech companies, which have led to a thriving ecosystem. And in fact, Kendall's Square in Cambridge is referred to as the most innovative square mile on the planet. Coming to Britain, the Golden Triangle containing Oxford, Cambridge, and London is seen as one of the primary innovative ecosystems for life sciences industries. And there is a reason why I brought Britain into this picture, because that also holds special relevance for India, my home country, as I'm just going to show. Now, it's not just developed world, but also developing countries such as Taiwan and East Asian Economic Powerhouse, where the government established the Hsinchu Science Park, which contains Taiwan's leading universities and also some of its cutting-edge technology firms. And through government efforts, cross-flow of information and innovation has led to a vibrant triple helix interaction, whereby this science park, Hsinchu Science Park, has been instrumental in making Taiwan a global leader in chip manufacturing. And it's a model for so many other developing countries to follow. Coming to the case of India, that is my home country, India is emerging as a front runner in the field of pharmaceutical clusters. In fact, India contributes about 55% of the global vaccine output. The COVID-19 vaccine that was developed by Oxford AstraZeneca was mass manufactured in India. And India's southern state of Telangana is now becoming a hub, a global hub for pharmaceutical industry and R&D in pharma, spurred by industry-academia interaction. Now, coming to the government policies in East Asian countries, I'd like to start off first with the government of Thailand. Now, the government of Thailand has actually embarked upon a program for transforming the economy from one led by manufacturing to one led by innovation, again by establishing science parks and facilitating cross-flow of information and innovation among the constituents of the triple helix model. Similarly, the government of Singapore has established an innovation city known as One North, and Singapore government's agencies are actually tasked with fostering linkages between small and medium enterprises and multinationals in order to kickstart innovation in SMEs and to develop an overall culture of innovation and growth in the economy. Singapore, again, is a dynamic and innovative powerhouse, as we all know. In Japan, they have this policy of giving grants to cluster associations of SMEs, both by Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, and by other financial institutions such as venture capital funds, banks, private equity investors who have an understanding of SME issues in order to kickstart innovation in the SME sector. Now, South Korea is another very interesting case. South Korean government for the last 40 years has tried to spur innovation in SMEs through targeted intervention. Now, this actually holds very important lessons for India and other developing countries because targeted interventions such as SME subsidies, R&D loans, and tax credits not only lead to exponential growth in innovation in small and medium enterprises, but also in the number of SMEs involved in innovation. Now, there's a specific reason why I've taken these cases because countries like India started off at almost the same stage of development as these East Asian countries about 40 years ago. But because of government policies to spur innovation, these economies have actually surged ahead of other developing economies in Asia and Africa, and they hold important lessons for the rest of the developing world. Because SMEs contribute to more than 95% of employment, output, and exports of developing countries. So to invigorate the economy, to create an innovative ecosystem, it's extremely important to create innovative ecosystems with SMEs at the center of it. SMEs are small and medium enterprises. Now, coming to the role of universities, this is very important. Universities, as I said, are at the center of triple helix interactions, and we try to measure the innovative potential of universities by the number of patents and research filings. Now, I don't know how it works in developed countries, but in developing countries, the patents and research filings made by universities may have no applicability, no relevance with the real world. So an alternate approach for quantifying the contribution of universities to innovation would be to take data regarding research projects undertaken by these universities for various SME clients, because this data shows where the research is generated, who uses the research, how this research is being used to spur innovation in an economy, whether it is actually relevant to the economy or not. Otherwise, universities and education institutions may work in a silo which may not be connected with the real world. Now, just to give you an example, I've taken this case of the University of Salento in Italy. The Salento region in Italy is a vibrant ecosystem with hundreds of small and medium enterprises. And the University of Salento signed more than 1,500 contracts, generating an overall income of 10.5 million euros. Most of these were large clients, but a significant proportion of these were small clients as well. Now, this is some data point which would be looked at with a lot of interest in developing countries where university and industry engagement is not as high as you might find in Europe or the United States. So this is an alternate approach for quantifying the contribution of universities. And the reason why I've actually mentioned this point is because this data regarding commissioned research, data which shows specific projects undertaken by universities for clients, including small and medium enterprises, can be used to formulate a national innovation policy with SMEs at the center of it. So if you have a national innovation policy in developing countries, which actually helps to identify thrust areas for innovation, where the gaps are in innovation, and which are the areas on which they need to concentrate to take the level of the economy and the innovation to the next level. Because innovation, it does take place. Like I said, India is 35% of the world's vaccine output. Other developing countries are doing it. But still, sometimes universities and research institutions work in silos, which are not connected with the real economic problems of these countries. So analysis of this innovation framework, data regarding commissioned research, can help to kickstart innovation in developing countries like India. And finally, I would like to say, looking at the examples of these East Asian countries, let alone countries like the United States and Europe, which started off on a much higher growth path in the earlier part of the 20th century. But looking at these East Asian economies, which were placed at almost the same level as Asian and African economies in the 1950s and 1960s, and how they've surged ahead, other developing countries should try to imbibe their examples. Because we, in the developing world, also have more than 90% of the industry made up of SMEs. And so in the developed world, but these Asian economies have surged ahead with targeted policies initiated by the government.